Sanam aloha, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. And if you could put your name and where you're logging in from and your human design type, if you know it, and your astrological stuff too in the comment section. And if you can't, if you don't know your chart, you can go and get your free chart with the link below. Okay, that's great. So everybody is on here. And let me do. There we go. So hopefully everybody has their head above water for this energy. We're in a lot of Piscean energy right now, and it can seem like there's nothing really to hold on to. It's best to just go with the flow and where the energy is taking you. So today I wanted to talk about the new moon, but also the spring equinox. So according to astrology, like just traditional astrology, this is the mark of the real new year, is when Aries, when the sun moves into Aries at 0 degrees. So I did a chart for that, and then a chart for the new moon. So we've got the equinox is March 20th, and it's 11:25. You can't see the 2-5 there in my neck of the woods. So you can translate that wherever you are in the world. And of course, it's going to be fall, right, for the southern hemisphere. And then March 21st, 2023, at 7:23 a.m. is the new moon. So you can see they're very similar, right? But what caught my attention was this right here, this channel. This is the channel of initiation. So this is the human design chart, the transit chart. And again, remember that you have your own unique natal chart. It's just like astrology. You've got your natal chart, and then you have your transits, and the transits can influence you in astrology. Well, it even goes deeper with human design, the human design system. It's the transit system. If you don't have this, for example, if you don't have this channel of initiation, the 51 and the 25, then this isn't you. It's not your authentic self, right? So this could move, if you're unconscious, right, it can move you away from your authenticity, right? So just to be aware of that. Now, I'm a projector, and I love to use energy. We projectors know, because we're not energy types, right? We've got that sacral is always open for the projectors, that we're very good with energy and how to use energy. So this is where we can use this energy, right? This activation, right? But to know that this isn't always me, but I'm going to use this energy for my own benefit if it's correct for me, right? So you can see that. So keep that in mind, right? I don't want to go too much into like how, the neutrino stream and everything. If you've been following my channel, you'll know, like, just go back to some older videos. Okay, so we've got the 25. So the red, or the yellow center is the G center. I call it the GJI as a yogi, a G center. That's like an affectionate term for the soul, GJI, G. And it's also in the traditional human design system is G, the letter G. So this is our self, like our authentic self, the higher self, your true essence, right, is here in this yellow center here. And then we've got the red center, and that's our center of willpower, right, and our heart. Now, traditional human design calls this the ego, but I don't like to confuse the ego with the willpower center. The ego to me is this guy right here, right? That voice in your head that you believe is you. This is the not self that pulls you away from your authentic self, right? It came in strong when you were 7 years old. That was the developmental stage of the mind, 7 to 14, right? So just to know that, so you have the language that I'm using here. Okay, so we've got the willpower center, the heart, connected to the G center, the sense of self, the self-love and direction, right? So there's the sun, and of course the moon, right? Because that makes it a new moon, 25.3, 25.3. And then it's connected to Jupiter, which is 51, right? So remember that we're leaving the cross of planning, right? The cross of planning that's been activated since 1615. It's coming to an end for 2027. That's one of the other reasons we're seeing so much change out in the external world. This is the global cycle. The global cycle, it's a frequency on the planet that's been motivating humanity, right? So this is coming to an end. And we're seeing it, right? Things are being dismantled out there in the Maya, out there in the external world, so that this new cycle is coming in. It's a very exciting time to be alive right now. So there's different types of circuitry, right? So this is circuitry, this channel, this 5125, it's circuitry. So you can either have tribal circuitry, collective circuitry, or individual circuitry. So depending. So the collective circuitry is all about sharing, right? It's all about sharing. There's no room for individuality there. The tribal circuitry is all about the bargain. You do this for me, I do this for you. And the tribal circuitry consciousness has been so entrenched in humanity with this global cycle cross of planning, right? It's been all about the bargain. Well, that's ending. Tribal consciousness is dissolving. It's ending, and there'll be collective and individual left. So what's interesting, this is very tribal, this center, this heart center and willpower. It's very, very tribal. I did a whole video on this if you want to go back and watch that. And so the 4037, right? That's the channel of community. And that's that's like the essence of tribal, right? Of the bargain. And then you've got the 2145, which is about our resources. And then 2644, right? Influencing the rest of the tribe. Come on board, right? The bargain, the bargain. This is the only individual out of all of them, right? There's 4 of them. This is the only individual channel. So that's really interesting. And so is the this one, the 2212, the channel of openness, right? That's individual too. So that gives us information about what this new year is going to be about astrologically, and also this new moon, right? The new moon in Aries. So this is the channel of initiation, the 5125. So we've got Jupiter there. Jupiter expands everything, right, that it touches, and it's in the 51. And this is the shadow of shocks. It's called the shadow of agitation, but the shadow of shock, right? Meeting with the shadow of constriction. So it's 3 tiers, right? So you can be in the lower shadow frequency. That's our animal self. The gift is our human self. And the third is our angel self. We're transcending the animal for this new age of Aquarius. That's the shadow frequency. That's the fear, right? And the gift is acceptance on the 25 side, and then initiative on the 51. And then the cities, right? The divine gifts here, universal love, 25, and awakening, the 51. So there's where Jupiter is going to expand either your shadow self or your gift self or your city, right? And especially if you've been doing your work since 2020, right? Because we're in the 7-year cycle coming to 2027. So it's also the channel of uniqueness. So this is really about being your unique self. And I've said this is your superpower, is your uniqueness, not following the crowd, not following the tribal ways. So this really is a wormhole, right? This 51 to 25, it's a wormhole. And with this channel of initiation, and it's like, well, who initiates me? Well, you initiate yourself, right? The shadow of the 51 is the shock, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And if you, in your meditation, if you go deep, you know something big is coming, right? When you really like tune into yourself, something big is coming. Well, that's this wormhole, right? That's going to be opening up for us. So whatever that looks like in your life, like that door that's just going to open and you're going to see it, and hopefully, right, you'll jump through, you'll walk through that door, right? This is your opening. And what's the opening into? It's to a whole new state of consciousness, another state of consciousness. This is leaping, following the heart. This is the heart center. Following my heart, following love, universal love on the other side. I don't know what's there. There's a big question mark, like what's in there, right? But you'll know, you'll feel it. It's like it's time to jump. And so if you've been doing your emotional work, your inner work, which I go on and on and on about, this is going to be easy peasy for you, So remember that we're evolving from the physical awareness system to the mental awareness system that we moved into, experiencing life through the mind. And then we're moving into the spirit awareness. But we have to go through our emotions. We've got to deal with our emotions, our stuck emotions from the past, right? And then that is the solar plexus mutation, our second brain that's behind the physical stomach. It's going through a huge mutation for 2027. The children born after 2027 will already have the solar plexus mutation. They won't have to go through this stuff that we have to go through. And then you go into the frequency, the vibrational, right? So if you've been doing your emotional work, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you'll be clear, right? You'll be a clear channel, and it's like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for lifetimes. I've been waiting for this, and I'm walking through that portal, right? And that's into this new earth, whatever that looks like, right, for you. But it's unknown, and nobody can make that jump for you, right? You have to make the jump, right? You have to make the jump. And when you go through, you got to leave this behind, that voice in your head, the mind, the not self, and walk through trusting, right? Just trusting. This is the Fool in the tarot, right? Just completely trusting and having faith in the divine. And knowing that on the other side, oops, let me fix this here. On the other side is your higher self, which is right, is you. Okay. Let me see what happened here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Images. Okay. Oh, I know why. There we go. Yes, so that's the channel of initiation. So the new moon is going to be giving us this opportunity. So look at what's stopping you, because you know the energy has been giving you lots of hints. If you've been aligned with your intuition, or even your life, aware of what's going on in your life, you've been getting lots of clues of where you're being guided to go, and more importantly, where you're being guided to leave, right? So you may be shocked. A shock could come that, oh, I thought this person that would always be on my side, we were a real team. Well, they're not choosing to go through there, right? This is the grief that we've got to deal with. Some people are not going to go any further than you are, but you can't let that stop you from going forward. And even, right, you see people here, it's a lone journey. It's a lone journey, right? It's that loneliness is a higher state of consciousness. When you feel that lonely, like I'm all alone in this. This is the initiation, right? You're in that frequency of initiation. So look at that. Like, what are my attachments, and who am I still connected, emotionally attached to, that I'm still trying to save? Maybe I'm trying to be someone else's savior. Maybe I'm afraid that. Well, we'll go into the little tarot here, and then I'll go back to it. Right there. So what it really is, like, in a nutshell, it's about identity. It's about identity. So this will stop you right here, is identity. the identity that I'm not good enough, right? That I'm not worthy. I need more. I'm not qualified. And what you're saying is my higher self isn't enough, and this will stop you from moving forward, like making that jump, right? And that all goes back to childhood, the 0 to 7 years old. This is the emotional work that has to be done, is to release this, because these emotions, these stuck emotions, are fueling identity, right? They work hand in hand. So it's great. It's like, okay, I'm the observer and I can see these identities that are false and they're not me, right? They're not me. But they're not going to let go until you deal with the emotions that are fueling, right? They're fueling this false identity. So this is love, right? Because you're jumping into universal love with that 25. With that 25 on the other side is universal love. It's acceptance, the gift of acceptance. These are all giving you clues right here, just these words in themselves of how you get through the portal, is accepting yourself as you are right now. Not the I'm not enough. That's scarcity consciousness, right? And it comes from childhood. And this is universal love, the 25 universal love. This is love without conditions, right? No conditions. We haven't been taught that as children and being on this earth plane. There was always big ropes attached. You're loved if you do get A's in school, or you're loved if you do this for me, the parent, right? If you're quiet, if you put on this false identity, this costume maybe that I wore too as a child, and this is how I survived in the world, right? You wear this costume too. Well, it's time to undress. It's time to let all these old identities go, but it means the feeling, right? The emotions that come up, that will come up. And they have to be coming up now for people, right? It's so intense, the energy. And it's dismantling the mind, right? Because it's all this Piscean energy, and Neptune rules Pisces, and it's all watery, and you can't put two thoughts together. It's to get you in touch with your deeper emotional body, right? To your spirituality, because we're evolving through the emotional body. So here's how it works, right? The mother to the child. We're not blaming mothers, because mothers got it from their mothers, and that mother got it from her mother, and it goes on and on. This is the ancestral wounding, right? The 25 is like a deep wounding of humanity. The 25 that represents that. We weren't loved unconditionally as children, and neither were our parents. So the message is basically, you're not good enough, right? And however that works for you, what dynamics you were in your family. And I don't love you for who you are, right? Your authenticity. So it's conditions, right? There's conditions, and the message is you must create a false identity, and then I'll give you love. So this creates a block, a flow in energy, right, in the emotional body. And this we carry into adulthood, and now it's getting triggered with the solar flares and the energy on the planet. It's triggering that emotional body, right, to start releasing. Okay. So this is what we have to let go of. This is so we're letting go of these false identities that's not ours, right? Because sleeping phoenix, it's the liberation of your spirit. It's going until 2438, the cross of the sleeping phoenix, this new cycle. It's a complete liberation of your spirit. And it's burning away what's not authentic. So every loss that you're feeling, or challenge, or like, I can't believe I'm going through this, it's like because it's burning away what's not authentic to you. Life is burning that away. It's showing you that you're not being yourself. And it's about living as a soul in a body. Like, what does that really look like for humanity? Living to your highest potential and following your unique path. So this is this channel, right? The channel of initiation. You're going to follow your unique path. I'm not going to be afraid, right? I'm leaving all this behind. All these institutions are going down for the sleeping phoenix. No more codependency on this Titanic that's going down. All these systems, we're seeing it out in the world. They're crumbling. They're not there to support us anymore. right? So if you think and believe that this is still going to be around, it's not going to be around, right? It's about being Uranus and Taurus. It's about being self-reliant now. Self-reliant, big S self, right? Self-sovereign. Relying on big G, not little g. And what does that look like? It's complete trust and faith in the divine, right? Of getting through this time, transitioning through this time. Yeah, and coming into the present moment. So no 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20-year plan, no plan, right? That's the old cross of planning. It's about coming into the present moment, that I have everything I need in this moment because I have myself, my big S self, right? And I communicate through my intuition. Yeah, so we can't rely on the external world anymore. It's about going within, and this is the shifting sands, right? The external world. And it can be so frustrating, right? As generators, you know this, manifesting generators, of trying to find security out there. It doesn't work anymore. As soon as you think you got security, it starts to shift and change. The change is going to get more and more intense, right? This change that we're going through. So you can only rely on what's authentic and what's real, right? What's real. And it's really interesting, with Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto coming into Aquarius in March 23rd. That's also coming up too, a major transit. Only for a couple months to give us a little peek in to what the next 20 years are going to look like when it finally hits in 2024, because it's going to go back into Capricorn. All this AI stuff has been coming out. Have you noticed that? This last couple weeks, it's like everywhere. It's everywhere. And I've been looking, I have a friend that's like, I don't like to look at that stuff. I don't want to look at the shadow, right? I just want to focus on this and we're winning and the light and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm kind of the middle ground. I like to keep one eye on the shadow and then one eye on the light, but know where I'm going, right? But I like to see what the shadow's up to too. With this artificial intelligence, I was on a couple sites, and you can completely replicate a voice of someone else, replicate their face and everything, and then there's all this worry that the AI is going to take over jobs, and I was just really tuning into it, and it's like I remembered I'm a human, right? So remember that you're a human. And then, well, what about the confusion? What's real and what's not? Well, if you listen to the voice, right, with your whole being, and this is why it's so important to be authentic, to be your authentic self, because automatically you'll know what's inauthentic. When you're authentic, you'll know exactly what's inauthentic. You'll be able to discern, oh, that's AI, that's artificial, it's not real, it's fake. People that are not in their authentic self, they're going to be like, and still identified with their mind and the ego, they're going to be swayed back and forth, right? With this artificiality that's coming, which is the opposite of authenticity. So do you see? You can use the shadow. This is how I look at it. You can use the shadow needs to be there for a reason, and it's so that we can awaken. It pressures us to awaken, just like the shadow pressures us to grab the gift in the city. Yeah. Okay. And to know that there's a way through every block, right? All solutions are found in the now. That's one of the sutras of the Aquarian age. Okay. Okay, so a few things about the shadow, right? Constriction, how to work with this, with the 25. Constriction is about like just tune into your breath right now. Are you breathing deeply into the belly? Or are you shallow breathing? That's constriction. Do you feel constricted when you go into your mind and you're trying to figure things out? Like, I got to figure this out, how I'm going to get through this crazy time that I'm in right now. Right? That's constriction. Your body feels constricted. You feel constricted in your life. Well, that's the shadow, right? I just want to check a few comments here. Okay. Yeah, it depends on Satnam, everyone. Collagen Babe and Shaima. Peg. Satnam Wicked Snail. Yeah. It's really interesting too to look at your own natal chart, and it gives you more information about your circuitry. Like I'm a pure individual. I have the 1-8 and the 15, the 39-55. So the ones with the individual, they're not so impacted by the conditioning, right, out in the world. And I've always been like that. Okay. And Monica Satnam. Oh, sorry to hear that, Collagen Babe. Friend that died in the afternoon. Yeah. Stuck in bed all day. That's total Pisces right now. Watching my body wobble with intense feelings. So this is not about like using that willpower right now and forcing yourself and, and listening to that voice in your head that I have to be productive and I have to go and make things happen. No, this is the time to relax and to reflect. It's a very spiritual time. Okay, so I want to look at the little tarot reading I got to get some more information. So are people seeing? Are you able to see like, oh, that portal's starting to open up now? Maybe seeing people you can tell like, oh, they're not committed. They're not going to come. They're not coming with me on this journey. It's a sad thing. Even physical death, right? Like Collagen Babe saying like that can happen. Yeah. Yeah. And it said the prophecy, you guys, is that 2/3 of the population will be leaving, right? The planet. 2/3, yeah, 2/3. And it's, because of this time, we're under so much pressure. So the soul gets to choose, right? The soul chooses to stay or go. Okay. So here's the cards here. So this is really interesting. So this is connecting to the channel of initiation, the channel of uniqueness. Am I going to walk through that portal, right? And what's stopping me? Can I leap into the unknown, right? Can I leap into the unknown? Can I follow my heart, my intuition, where it's leading me? No guarantees, no safety net. That's part of the spiritual journey, right? It's if you don't have everything, like when you walk the path appears as you walk forward, step by step by step. It's that trust. Is someone going to save me? The 51st shadow wants a savior. And it's like, no, you're your own savior. There's no savior. There's no aliens. There's no Jesus coming out of the clouds, right? Christ consciousness is coming from within each one of us. But there's no savior out in the external. We have to realize that we're our own saviors, right? Even religion is in this bucket, these bucket of institutions, right, that are dismantling. Even religion is going down too. So organized religion. Can I follow love? Can I follow love? Universal love, right? Can I follow my own heart? Can I let that bolster me up, right? The frequency of love. Yeah, that's true. The people that are leaving, sometimes they want to come back, right? Like right away and be maybe a Pluto and Capricorn baby. They're going to be the ones building up the planet when they come into adulthood, Pluto and Capricorn generation. Okay. So there we are. The seven of swords right here. The 7 of swords. So this is the lie, right? This is the tarot card that represents lies and deceit. So this is where you got to look at yourself in truth. And the energy's there, right? That mirror is going to be really, really clear to see where am I not being authentic, right? And it's remember to bring in the gift of acceptance with that 25. That we all had to play this game, including our caregivers, including our grandparents and our great-grandparents. We had to play this game. We had to put on the mask, right? just to survive, right? Just to be in the tribe and survive. But that's not being supported anymore. So this is saying to let go of any mask that you're wearing and tune in, like really, like, tune in, go meditate. Like, where am I being fake? Where am I being inauthentic? Where am I judging other people? They're being such a phony and they're inauthentic. Well, if you're seeing it out there in the mirror, then you got to look at yourself, right? It's reflecting something back to you. And this is about letting go of acting strategically, right? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to manipulate this situation so I get something back, right, for this. This is the old way, right? So it's about letting that go. Where am I saying yes when I mean no? Where am I saying no when I mean yes? Just basic integrity, questions of integrity. And who do I trust? Who in my life do I trust right now? Who don't I trust? Who am I looking away? And I don't try. I get such a niggly feeling about that friend of mine, but we've been friends for 25 years, so I better be loyal. That's the tribal consciousness. I better be loyal to them. And then the back of your intuition is like, I can't trust them as far as I could throw them, right? It's like, these are the questions you have to ask, because spirituality is like, right? It's taking away what's not authentic to you, right? Not authentic to you, because it's going to bite you in the butt, like down the road. And then ask yourself, where can you be more authentic in your life? And ask yourself what you're lying to yourself about, right? Because we do that too. Oh, things will get better. I'll just stick with this job that I've been in that I can't stand. It will get better. How we talk ourselves out of our intuition and our feelings, right? So that. And then what's underneath that is where your investment. This is about investment. It's about long-term view. So what have you been investing your energy in, right? With this Seven of Pentacles. It's very material. What do I invest my energy in? What am I spending my money on? Right? Uranus and Taurus, North Node in Taurus, it's all about your value. What's going to have long-lasting value for you? Where am I investing in things because I want to seem like that I'm someone I'm not, Keeping up with the Joneses, that old chestnut that people do, right? It's a big thing is like, what do you spend your money on? That's what you'll get a big heads up of, like, what do I value in my life? If you want to stop lying to yourself, start writing down everything you spend your money on, and that will give you a lot of information, right, on what you spend your money on. And also what you're investing your time in and energy. So look at these people in your life maybe that you got to let go. Maybe they're a little bit of the Seven of Swords, deceitful, not authentic, like stabbing you in the back when you're not looking, those kinds of people, right? Am I investing way too much of my time and energy and attention on these people that I can't trust as far as I can throw them? Yeah. So remember, when you let go of people, it opens up more room for the new ones, your soul allies, to come through. Yeah, so that's a good thing to look at for this new moon. And then look at this, the Hangman. So this is the challenge. So this is hanging around. This can be seen as I'm hanging around, right? I'm hanging around. I'm holding on to these things that I know that I've got to let go of, right? Because you can't take them on this journey if they're not authentic. They're not going to fit through that portal. It's the camel, right? Moving through the eye of the needle from the Bible. That's that story, right? That is very thin, right? You can't be carrying people with you. Out of loyalty, this is the tribal consciousness. We're letting that go, right? The tribal consciousness. It's about putting you first. Like, you're not in a selfish, narcissistic way, but your soul journey first. That's what the most important thing is to me. That's why I'm on the planet right now, is to realize the self. It's about my spiritual journey. So to look at that, and it's also saying to look at things, because he's upside down, right, is to look at things from a new perspective, right? So maybe you're not looking at things clearly. You're looking at it in the same way. Like really look at each person in your life, and it's like, okay, I refuse to look at everyone has a flaw, right? I refuse to see any flaws in that person. Well then, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to just look at the flaws. This is the yogi way of evaluating with the positive mind. Sees all is optimistic. We've got 3 parts to our minds, according to yogic teachings. So we've got the positive, like the optimist. Oh, they're this. I like this about them, and this and this. Okay, and then you get the negative mind, and that's all it's about protection, right? Protection, and then you see, well, they're this and they're this. And you just allow a space. So maybe you're too negative and too much in the negative mind. Not enough in the positive mind with people, like I don't trust anybody, right? Or I trust everyone, and I don't look at any flaws, right? Or I look at just all the positive. So you look at both, and then with the neutral mind, that's when you evaluate. That's how you evaluate from the neutral mind, and you're not emotionally charged, right? You don't care about what people think of you. If you decide to let this person go, or if you decide to keep this person, you don't care what other people think either. No, this person is good. Yes, they've got some flaws, but I'm okay with that, right? It's about becoming a spiritual adult. So that's what this hangman is saying. I'm really feeling strongly this is about our relationships with people. And then the spiritual lesson is the Knight of Pentacles, and this is the worker, right? So this is getting busy with your soul purpose, right? Showing up every day. Okay, I got the intuition. I'm not going to be in this 7 of Swords energy that I've got to figure everything out, and I've got to be strategic, and I have to have the business plan, and I have all this and that. I'm trusting my heart. I'm walking through the portal, and then I'm showing up every day, right? With doing the work. And this is consistency. This isn't looking for the get-rich-quick scheme, right? It's just like this consistent. To me, it's sadhana, right? It's your spiritual practice. It's getting up every single morning, and it starts to pay off. It's putting that pentacle in the piggy bank every single morning, showing up as yourself every single morning, just to keep up, right? So that's what keep up means. Just be consistent. With your focus, with your spiritual purpose, right? Not letting yourself get distracted. And that's the magician. The magician is, I have everything that I need, right? I have all the resources. You can see he's got all the elements, right? He's got the wand, he's got the cup, he's got the sword, right? He's got it all. He's got the pentacle too, and the infinity. Right? So this is your power as a manifestor. This is beyond like the human design manifestor. And it's about taking inspired actions, right? So if you're a generator, it's that respond, right? Respond. Projector, you're recognized and invited. Manifestor, you manifest, you initiate, right? And then the reflector, you wait for the lunar cycle. So you're still the magician, but you got to wait for the moon, right? In listening to what you're called to create, right? This is the thing that we've forgotten. We have amnesia. We don't realize what powerful creators we are. This is about remembering. That's another thing about this channel of uniqueness, right? It's remembering. And it's not enough to be mental. Yes, I'm a powerful being, a creative being, and I'm doing my affirmations at night, my visualization. No, this is you have to have an experience, right? So there's one thing to be talking and flapping about spirituality, and then there's another when you got bills to pay and you're frantic and you're under pressure and you're in some kind of crises. You're in the shadow of shock. And reframe it, right? Reframe it is like, this is the doorway opening for me. The portal is opening for me to walk through. And this is awakening to universal love, right? So to look at it like that, and this is what life does to us. It pressurizes us so that our greatness can come through. Our greatness won't come through if everything's all cushy. It's like dreaming. If you're having a nice dream, are you going to wake up from the dream? No. But if you're having a nightmare, then you're going to wake up. People will wake up from a nightmare way more than if they're having some nice, cushy dream. So it's like our life, right? So it's about awakening, right, to universal love, to who you are. So know that it's not you know the spiritual path if you've been on it for a while. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy path, but it's the best path. But either is being asleep. That's not an easy path either. So you might as well pick the better one, right? The path to awakening. So that's what this is saying. You have everything you need. The magician has everything she needs. She doesn't need anything else. She has it all, and it's inside her. It's the self, the S-self. It's weaning yourself off this system. Wean yourself off this system as much as you can right now, and embrace your uniqueness. The uniqueness, right? So then let's look at the ego card. And of course, failure, right? So it's fear. That's the creative card that I picked. In the fear is a huge one that will stop us. So this shadow of agitation, this is the fear, right? It's the fear. So the fear of shock, right? So this is the deer in the headlights, right? The fear of shock. It's fight or flight or freeze, right? Freeze. That's the fear. I'm just going to freeze. Right? So this is why emotional work is so important to do, because it's coming from here. The origins are here, where you felt that fear as a child. You were in some kind of situation where you froze, right? And fear, and the child can't handle these crazy emotions at that age. The child is supposed to be like playful and joyous and completely protected. That's not the planet we've been living on. So the freezing comes from the child, right? The child self. That's those emotions that are releasing. So at this point, if you haven't done your inner child work, it's just to feel the fear, whatever the fear is coming up. You can feel this portal is opening, and I'm afraid I'm not going to move. I can't move through. It's just to stop, and it's like, okay, this is about the past. It's not about the present. The shadow always is about the past, right? And then you just feel it. You know, I see so much new agey stuff about get the violet flame and get the wand and all these little gadgets and things to get rid of these emotions. And I want to scream, like, how about feeling them? That's all you have to do. You don't need any magic gadgets. All you need to do is feel. Your magic gadget is your own heart, right? You open up your heart and you feel the fear. And it's just a frequency. That's all fear is. It's a frequency moving through your body. You don't let the mind get in there and the not self and make up a bunch of stories about why you're afraid and how to avoid it. It's like, no, it's all about the past, right? If there's look around, is there a tiger chasing me? Is a bus about to hit me? No, then it's about the past, right? So then you just feel it. And then you just feel it. And then you move through the portal, right? That's what you do there. And then the failure is all about fear too, right? That I'm going to fail. You're not born on you didn't incarnate to fail, right? And what is failure? Like, really look at that, evaluate that. Like, where do I get this whole idea about success and failure? Well, where does that come from? Well, it's going to come from here. I don't want to be seen as a failure because I don't want to feel that shame that I felt, or abandonment that I felt, or guilt that I felt as a child, you know? That's usually where all this stuff comes from. It's psychological. So to address this, right? And then this is how you talk to yourself. If your mind is attacking you and your ego is attacking you, if you're going to be a failure in your ear, you're a failure if you do this. If you try this or if you take this risk, you'll be a failure. Your parents will judge you. Other people will judge you. You'll be living on the streets in a ditch, things like that. Well, then you say to the ego, well, thanks for your input, but I'll be free. If I'm living in the ditch, then I'm going to be free. I'd rather be free living in a ditch, right? Than like tied and tethered to this ego mind, into this system that's going down, right? You've got to have that. This is the spiritual warrior, right? This 5125, that's the spiritual warrior. And the spiritual warrior doesn't fight for more power and more money, right? And other people's territory and their resources. That's not the true warrior. The true spiritual warrior fights for the heart, right? That's what you're fighting for. Your heart and innocence. This is the gate of innocence. The 25, gate of universal love and innocence, right? That's what you're fighting for. And this is the innocence of your higher self that's waiting for you to jump in there, right? With that. What I want to say is you're born at this time and space for a reason, especially if you're an indigo, right? If you've got Pluto and Scorpio, you're an indigo and you're the teardown crew, right? So it's time for you to come forward. This is the call of the soul. That's what this new moon's about. It's the call of your soul, right? Come back. Your soul is saying, come back home, come back inside. You've had your fun out here in the Maya, right? Pretending you were asleep. It's time to wake up now, come back home in the soul and do your purpose. Do what you've come here to do, which is your joy. It's like really, and your joy is to be that conduit for universal love. And out of that comes your soul purpose, right? So it's really a time of remembering now that you're stronger than you think, right? You're stronger than what you've been made to believe and what you've been taught, And remember, through our conditioning from our family of origin, our extended family, our religion, our educational system, all of that has been about squashing our uniqueness that was like beaten out of us, literally and figuratively, beaten out of us. Our uniqueness. Who do you think you are, right? I've had so many people come to me and they said they were children and they wrote these beautiful essay. At 8 or 9 years old, the teacher said, oh, you plagiarized that. It's too good. And they didn't. They come with this beautiful drawing. Oh, you copied that from somebody. This is the teachers, right? That are main indoctrination, agents of indoctrination are the teachers. Not all of them, but most of them, because they've been through that system. It's about squashing your uniqueness. Right? So this is what we're claiming back, because that's about our power. That's your power, is your uniqueness, your authenticity. So that's what this channel is saying. Like, come back to your authenticity. This G center, it's your authenticity. It's everything you've been looking for. Stop looking out here for it. Stop trying to look for somebody else to say that you're special and to validate you and love you and give you all the things you didn't get as a child. That's what you're looking for, is to jump in there, right? Jump in there into the unknown. Okay. Okay, so that's what I have to share with you. And I just want to remind people that I've got my Soul Purpose webinar series, and people have been emailing me and they wanted me to keep the deal, so I've extended it to March 19th. So this is both webinars. That starts March 26th and then April 2nd, and this is like an in-depth, and we'll be looking at your chart too. We'll be focusing on one aspect of your chart. So it'll probably be like 4 hours each. I can't imagine it being any shorter than that, with meditations and teachings, and just to get you really started, right? Activating your soul purpose. And this is what we all want. Like, it's such a big question. Remember, I did that poll? It was like, people want their soul purpose and direction, right? We know that. We're starting to remember that, why we're here on this planet. So that's on my website. You can see the discount code and everything. And then my Emotional Freedom recorded readings too are out. I just put the first 5 out. 2.5 hours, and this gives you so much information about your karmic defense patterns that are keeping you from evolving through that emotional body. So we'll give you lots of information and focus on where, this is my piece of the karmic pie that I'm here to transmute, and you'll see this theme play over and over and over and over in your life, right? So it's going to save you a lot of time and energy. So keep that in mind too. Okay? So have a good day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the next video, okay? Maybe sooner than later, okay? Satnam aloha, everybody.